Taking a look at Pete Prisco's top 100 list that just dropped on CBSSports.com. Looking at Trevor Lawrence, he went from number 62 on Prisco's list in 2024 to unranked. Just a small note here, in 2023, he was rated number 23. So not a good slide for Trevor Lawrence. What does that mean for Trevor? Pete calling him a bust? Well, I would say he's definitely on alert. Looking at 9 players that are on bust alert. That's not a list you want to be a part of, Haley.
I like that we just make those lists, and it's what's trending. So let's talk about it.
This is exactly what's trending right now, and we are going to talk about it. We have our NFL on CBS writer, John Breech, joining us now. So we're talking QB busts. Not quite saying they're total failures just yet. Trevor Lawrence, he signed that 5-year, $275 million deal. Now, with his 3rd head coach in 5 years, that can't help trying to find some continuity with the program. Now he has Liam Cohen at the helm. How pivotal is this year for Trevor Lawrence?
Jenny, this is absolutely a huge year because you look at what Trevor Lawrence has done. He is 2-13 in his past 15 starts. But as you said, there hasn't been any continuity there. Now he's got a new head coach, a new offensive system to learn. But if you're talking about whether Trevor Lawrence is going to be a boom or bust guy going to his 5th season, I think he's going to be a boomer, and it is all because of Liam Cohen. You look at what he did in Tampa Bay. Baker Mayfield was in somewhat of a similar situation. Career was kind of falling apart. Ends up with the Buccaneers, and you have Liam Cohen, who turns him into one of the top quarterbacks in the NFL last year. Played like a top 10 guy. The Buccaneers were 4th in the NFL in scoring. And so then you look at what Jacksonville did this offseason. How can you help Trevor Lawrence? Well, they went out and signed Diami Brown. They drafted Travis Hunter. They already have Brian Thomas Jr. on the team. So that's 3 receivers that Trevor Lawrence is going to have to throw the ball to. And then you look at what Liam Cohen likes to do on offense. He likes to take the pressure off his quarterback. The Buccaneers had one of the top rushing offenses in the NFL last season. That helped Baker Mayfield thrive. And I won't be surprised if he looks to do the same thing in Jacksonville. Last year, Jacksonville was not good at running the ball. They ranked 26th overall in rushing yards per game. I think Liam Cohen would love to get his team up into the top 10. That would take a lot of pressure off of Trevor Lawrence. And I know that sounds almost contradictory. We want this guy to be booming, but we're going to take some pressure off him. I think that's what Cohen wants. Take something off Trevor Lawrence's plate so he doesn't get in his own head. But I do think Trevor Lawrence is going to have a big year.
Boom. We're going boom for Trevor Lawrence. What about Bryce Young? You look at Bryce Young's rookie season, it statistically was one of the absolute worst for a #1 overall pick in recent history. And you think about how he's done with the Panthers. Since he's been on that team, 7-27. Boom or bust for Bryce Young?
Yeah. That is a bust record. And look, it wasn't even just his rookie year that was bad. You go into his 2nd year, 2024, he got benched for Andrew Gregory Dalton. I mean, if you're a #1 pick getting
official.
If you're getting benched for Andy Dalton, you know you're in trouble. And we do know that Bryce Young did get his job back, and it seemed that the benching did kind of light a fire under him because he did play well down the stretch over his final 10 games of the 2024 season. But he still didn't light it up. He wasn't a top 10 QB. He wasn't putting up huge numbers. He was playing efficient football, and he looked a lot better than he did during his rookie year. But you look at what he did during those 10 starts where he did play well. He only threw for over 225 yards 3 times, so he just wasn't asked to do much. Chuba Hubbard was kind of carrying the load for that offense down the stretch. So I do think now that Dave Canales is going to have a full offseason with Bryce Young and a full training camp, knowing this is the guy's the starter, there are no question marks there. I think Bryce Young looks better. I think the Panthers can win 6 or 7 games. But if you are a former #1 overall pick, 6 or 7 games is not good enough. And I'm not sure the Panthers are going to pick up that 5th-year option if Bryce Young doesn't play spectacular football in 2025.
Dang. Feisty over here. I got to ask about Anthony Richardson next and the Colts. We were talking names earlier. His mom once told me that he's Anthony when he's happy and jovial and doing his thing out there, but then Tony comes out when he's feisty out on the field, and they need to see a little feistiness coming from Anthony Richardson. He's now battling New York Giants quarterback, the former one, and Daniel Jones for the right to lead that Colts offense. What happens with Richardson?
Maybe they need to put Tony on the back of his jersey to get that guy out. That's what they need right now. I mean, if you look at what Anthony Richardson has done during his time in Indianapolis, it's just not much. I mean, look, Anthony Richardson has been battling injuries, and that's been one of his biggest issues, that he hasn't been able to stay on the field. And we're seeing that right now with the shoulder injury that held him out of a good chunk of OTAs. He missed mandatory minicamp. And when you're in a quarterback competition with another guy who's trying not to be labeled a bust, Daniel Jones, you don't want to miss any of those reps. Those are all key. So now Anthony Richardson's already behind the 8 ball a little bit, and he has to go out into training camp and try to win this job over Daniel Jones. And I think the biggest problem is he has struggled with his accuracy. It's just 50.6% in 2 seasons, so he's barely completing half of his passes. He's got a high interception percentage. He was threw 12 interceptions in just 11 games. So I think when you're a head coach, those are 2 things that if you can't fix them, you don't feel comfortable with a guy who can't complete passes and is throwing interceptions as your starting quarterback. So I think if Daniel Jones goes out and wins this job, that Anthony Richardson officially becomes a bust. And I'm sorry for Big Tony, but I think that's what's going to happen.
Big Tony, what are we going to do with you? Oh, goodness. John Breech, thanks for joining us here on HQ, breaking down some boom or bust this year in the NFL. The guys definitely want to be on the boom side of things.
Yeah, especially if your name is Tony.
Hey,
or
Tony.
Anthony. It depends.
It all depends. We'll be talking about it all here on CBS Sports HQ. We'll have all the news, highlights, scores, and analysis when it comes to the NFL season.